Alright, and welcome back. Working on the top skin of the tail cone. Have the wife and family here helping me this time. Going to be putting together the, like I said, the top skin here, just doing some final touches on it. And then also going to be working on getting the, as you can see here, the side skins finally riveted to the bottom skin. This was something that I needed assistance with. Just my arms were not long enough to be able to reach both the bucking bar and the rivet gun working on these parts here. So a lot easier to get someone to help you. And so we're going to go through here and attach the side skins to the bottom skins like I talked about. And then as we're going through, just looking at the seams and making sure that none of them are pillowing out and that they're all keeping a pretty close, a tight seam. There's my little boy. Decided he wanted to go ride his toys. But at the bottom there, you can see where the aft bottom skin is supposed to go. That's where I was talking about earlier in the last video, in that because I riveted too far back, it was a bit of a struggle when I finally got the new part and drilled it correctly and then tried to put it in. In fact, I think in the last video I kind of misspoke. Where you see the rivets now are the rivets that I was speaking, or I'm sorry, not the rivets, but the clecos. Where you see the clecos now is where I was speaking to that you should stop riveting in the last video. I would actually go a little bit forward, a little more forward, and not rivet. Probably about 4 or 5 rivets forward of where those clecos are, just so you can bend the skins back and be able to fit the piece and get it in place. Like I said, it was a pretty good struggle trying to force the piece in when I finally did get it in the mail and got it drilled correctly and put it in place. So just something to think about as you're building. It's one thing that I wish I would have thought a little bit more about before I put it in. So anyway, so like I said, the wife's helping me with the riveting for the side skins. It was good to have her helping and be a part of the project. Like I said before in some previous videos, she was there to help her grandfather build his RV4. And that was probably at least 25, maybe 30 years ago. Not giving away age anyway. Just saying it could have been. So it was pretty neat to be able to have her be able to help with this. And same thing, getting my children involved. That way they have a memory as they're growing up that, hey, they helped build this airplane too. And so that's kind of my goal with this whole project. I've got, like I said, I'm planning about 5 years to build this, and over the course of that time, I expect that I'll probably have a good amount of help from the kids, especially putting everything together. So as we're going through, the next step here that I'm working on is going to be the static lines, both the left and right static lines. Now, Vans includes a static kit with this build build kit. It's okay. I thought it was a little flimsy. And I'd heard some preferences for the Cleveland Tools version. The Vans kit basically had a pop rivet that was hollowed out as the port, and this kit actually has a little bit thicker piece. I like the look of it a little bit better. I think it was a little more beefy, and I like the tubing structure and how it's put together. Vans kit, basically you had plastic tubing that you inserted over a barbed T, and that's kind of what was supposed to, I think you're supposed to use some kind of glue or something to hold it in place, but it was just a plastic barb tee. And this system is one of those where it's a pressure fitting, where you press the tubing into the T fitting, and then it excuse me, it holds on to it, and then you push in on the fitting and it'll release the tubing. And I just think it's a little bit better all around. I like the structure of it, the strength of the tubing. It just seems a better product, and so I think it's more of a personal preference. I'm sure the Vans kit is just fine, but after looking at the reviews and looking at the orifice, I liked the Cleveland's tool static port kit better. So anyway, you take the ports and you glue them in place with a silicone adhesive, and let those sit overnight. And so now this is the next day, and I'm measuring out the tubing per the instructions. So you're going to go from the right side port up and over the bulkhead, and you're using tie wraps as you go around. And then you put it, connect it to a T, and then that T goes to the left port, and then also continues down the bottom of that bulkhead, and then travels forward along the centerpiece there on the bottom skin of the tail cone. And the caution is you want to make sure that you don't create a low point when you're making the T's. So as you're coming from the right side port, you want to make sure you go up with the tubing and not go down first before you go up and create a loop. Also, when you make the T to the left port, you want to make sure that the tubing is higher than the port at all points. The concern being that you don't want to get water trapped into the loop there, and then you lose that static line. So that's really the only big concern when making this static line. Other than that, just make sure the fittings are all tight so you don't have any leaks, and then just route it through the tie wraps. And when you tighten the tie wraps, obviously you don't want to cinch them down so tight that you're closing up the tubing, just enough to hold it in place. But other than that, it's a pretty simple, straightforward process. And here I'm mostly just going through and cleaning it up and making sure that it's fitting in correctly, and like I said, making sure that there's no low points that water can collect in. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let this video run out here. Again, I appreciate those who continue to watch these videos. If you get a chance, hit that like button for me, and we'll see you guys next time around.